Yo, no, not gonna do
You're
that.
out.
We're live. We're doing it. It's another episode of Art Start Now on LADZ City Network, y'all. We're so stoked to be here. It's gonna be a little bit of like a weekly roundup type of thing. We're gonna talk about some recent NFT news. We're gonna be sharing with you some updates on our projects, on Deebies, on what Lola Menthol is doing. She's doing something really special. Yeah, Fun Uncle is gonna also be hanging out with us and talking about some of the exciting things that he's working on. Without further ado, let's get it.
Art starts now, I guess.
Now, let's go.
Art start now. We're gonna make it just creative, put it down. Art start now. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Start now.
Welcome again to Art Start Now. Yeah, we're hanging out. It's your boy Gif. I'm here with Lola Menthol and Woah Boy, the Nifty Castle crew. Every Saturday on LADZ City, we're going to be here kicking it, talking about art, talking about the process, creative process, different projects that we love that are launching. And we're so stoked that you're here to chill with us. One of the things that we want to kind of start off this episode with, we're going to be highlighting a lot of cool things that, we're all working on, but also just some of the recent news in this episode. But Lola, you've been doing something really kind of creative and I will say very different, which is basically your tattoo project. And so I wanted to kind of start with that and just have you share a little bit about what this is, what the opportunity is, and like what you're thinking with this project.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk about it really quick. So basically, you buy this portrait NFT that I've also animated on. It's on OpenSea, and we can talk about the next tattoo that I get next. It can be your profile picture. It can be basically mostly whatever you want. We have some rules and regulations that go with this, but yeah, and I'll be making a docu-series from this project. So I'll be recording the whole process, like conception to actually getting the tattoo, and the collector would be a producer of that episode of the docuseries.
Wow. First of all, there's a couple things I love about this. One, it's very avant-garde, innovative, different. Like you're literally using NFTs as a token. You're tokenizing parts of your skin and you're sharing, letting people participate in what you look like what your actual, like really, this is your identity too. Like, it's not,
Right.
Like who you are internally, but this becomes who you are externally to the world. And so like, first of all, that's fascinating. But the other cool thing that you just mentioned about this is that you're kind of looping together a bunch of your different passions into one project because, you are an artist, you're a music maker, but you're also a filmmaker. Like you actually produce really cool documentaries, music videos, a bunch of different video content. And so, yeah, this feels like a really cool fit for you because you're bringing all that together. Was that part of the idea?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I guess it would be a really good reason to like bring all these things together and allowing the community to be a part of my tattoo collection, because we're out here collecting NFTs. So if you collect this NFT and I'm out here collecting tattoos and I'm very passionate about that. So I thought it was a really good way to bring myself in the community to be more engaged. So I'm very excited about it. I'm still really nervous, but that's also the fun part about it. And I'm just hoping for certain collectors.
So where do they go? lolamenthol.com/ what's the link? We're gonna put it in the description, but yeah, tell us how people can actually get involved if they want to be part of your tattoo collection and part of this process.
Yeah, you can go to lolamenthol.com/NFTs and you'll see all the rules that I have for this project. You'll see the NFT and a button you can click that'll direct you to the OpenSea.
Amazing. And how many of these are you doing? Is it just one?
There's one right now, and then when that goes, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I have a couple ready to go.
This is a one of one opportunity. So you are literally like just looking for who is the right person that wants to be my friend and part of my life in this very unique way. What is like, okay, we're going to get a little bit weird before we kind of, kick it off and talk some more about some other things. Here's a question for you. what is
Sure.
like your sort of your dream collector for this, and then what's like your worst nightmare collector for this?
Oh my god. Well, obviously my dream collectors would be the people around me right now and like the friends that I have in the NFT space that are close to me. For example, Nifty Castle, DB's crew, or Bitcoin Wine. The folks behind Bitcoin Wine, that would be cool. And Lil Bitcoin. And I guess nightmare. I haven't even thought about it honestly, and I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I don't
that's
really
fair.
know.
I
Just
think this is
someone
a
that,
good. I think this
you
is.
know,
I think it's a good exercise. I don't know.
Yeah.
that I mean,
What-
I think that idea would have held me back from even
True.
making it happen, like putting it out there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna trust that it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you set up some ground rules and guidance, so you know, people can't get too weird with it. But yeah, I
You
think
can't get too crazy on me.
yeah, I just love that you're experimenting, you're innovating in the space, and you're doing something really unique and different that brings all of your different skill sets and passions together. So props to you, Lola, on this. And yeah, so definitely if you want to check that out, if you might be interested in literally having your artwork or something that you've created, or just want to choose something interesting and different to have as part of Lola's tattoo collection and have it on her body, check this out, lolamenthol.com/NFTs. And it's a one of one opportunity right now. You've only minted one.
Literally.
So right now
One
there's
of one
really,
on sale.
I guess my last question, did you choose a location yet, or is that also up for like debate, or can be decided?
Yeah, that's also up for the collector and me to discuss. I clearly like the
All right.
arms. That's my favorite spots where I get put all my Girl Scout badges. But yeah, still up for debate.
Girl Scout badges. Well, heck yeah. Love it. And we want to talk briefly about Nifty Castle and Deebies, because as you may
and
or may not know,
congratulations.
yeah, Deebies sold out over the holidays. It was a Heckmas miracle. All the little Hex spawn are now officially minted. This is like a really, really big deal. Definitely something that we've been, working towards with our roadmap for months. And one of the biggest deals is that it unlocks, as part of the phase 1 roadmap, the Xray Deebies, which are the second companions, the second unlockables that go along with the DBs, right? The first one were the Winky DBs, which have now been burned. Any of the unclaimed Winkies were burned. As of a couple of days ago, the community voted and basically said, when the Xray DBs come, any unclaimed Winky DBs will be burned. So all the Winky DBs that were not claimed, if you didn't get yours, your SOL, I don't know what to tell you, but they've all been cursed by the Witchy GFs, and they will never be able to wink again. But what's so exciting is that the people that did collect their Winkies and are now getting their X-rays are able to collect a full character set. So Fun Uncle, if you scroll down just a little bit more right there, you can see an example, right? That's like a full character set. You've got your OG base DB, you've got your Winky DB, and then you've got your Xray DB. And all those together give you a full DB's character set. This is just like an incredible new thing. And if you go to niftycastle.io, the Xray DBs are finally minting, which is just incredibly exciting. But yeah, with the Winkies, there's only ever now going to be 1,145, I think was the total number, which means that they're actually going to be pretty rare. And then the other part of it is that, we'll see what's going to happen with the Xray DBs. We don't know how many people are going to actually mint them or how many will be collected. But, we could probably say that in the next, maybe 2 months, let's say a month or two, the community might have another vote on whether they want to burn any of the unclaimed X-rays. So at that point, having one of these full collector sets, full character sets, or, having the X-rays or the Winkies might be especially rare. So yeah, these are some of the X-rays that are currently already minted. And yeah, check it out at niftycastle.io. And many of the X-rays haven't been picked up yet, right? So the only way to claim those is by having the base DB NFT, right? That's the way that you unlock them. So, there's still what I would call some really affordable DBs on the floor on OpenSea on the secondary, even though they sold out. So if you want to get your X-rays, now's a good time to be grabbing those. And yeah, Woah Boy, I'd love to hear what's been going on through your head the last couple of weeks with all this.
How are you feeling?
I mean, you talking about voting on the X-rays already? Like, come on, we just burned a bunch of Winky DBs, man. Like now we're considering this. I mean, I'm extremely proud and happy that all of these little hex spawn are officially on the Ethereum blockchain. Grateful for everyone that supported us and our journey with this collection. It's not the end. WitchyGF is coming up, so that's something exciting to look forward to as well. And DBs play a great part in the journey of the WitchyGFs. Obviously, WitchyGFs have already played a part in DB's journey because they've cursed them. But extremely proud and happy to have fully minted the collection and grateful too. So thank you all so much. And yeah, look at that. Look at the witch list. That art's so great. Nate's shout out Nate, Sketch Nate. Shout out Sketch Nate.
Shout out Sketch Nate.
Sketch Nate.
We've got to get Sketch Nate to come on Art Start Now sooner rather than later. Because if y'all don't know, the artist behind the and the WitchyGF, our partner in crime, is the incredibly talented illustrator from Toronto, Sketch Nate. And so WitchyGF Witch List is now open, and the DBs will be factoring, as Woah Boy said, very heavily into the utilities, into the game behind that project. So definitely go to niftycastle.io/WGF and get on the wish list if you haven't. And on the burning part, Woah Boy, I'm trying to do my best to communicate ahead of time that I think it will be
always do.
Yeah, that it will be a future option, because here's what happens with the Winkies, right? Is that the Winkies were available for literally months, right? And then, it was planned by the community. People knew that when the X-rays were going to come, they were going to get burned months ago. And then even still, people wait until the last minute, and then they're like, oh, why are you burning them? Like, just keep waiting for me. And it's like, at some point, we have to go with the community's vote and burn them. Yeah. So even though we extended the time, we communicated as far ahead in advance as we could and as clearly as we could. There's still people that are upset about it, and there's only so much that we can do. But that's what I'm trying to do with the X-rays, right? Is I just want to start communicating ahead of time, encouraging people that there probably will be an end date in the not too distant future for claiming your X-rays. So, take your time. You've got time at the moment, but beware that if you take too long, you might miss the opportunity. There's currently, no set date to ever burn the X-rays, but it might come. It might happen. So
get them while they're hot.
Yeah.
X-ray Endgame.
X-ray Endgame. It's going to happen at some point. And so,
congrats on the sellout, guys. Though, congrats. So proud. So inspired.
Everybody, I mean, that's part of this community. Like, we couldn't do it without any of our friends of the castle, any of the DBs, collectors, the early believers. Like, y'all are our first friends in the space, our first believers. And so, looking for how we can just keep building the brand of DBs as the first crypto skate brand. I mean, that's what we're doing in 2022. Just continuing to build the DBs into the skate world, into the skate culture, into the industry. Establish DBs as the first crypto skate brand and keep building that. And then with WitchyGFs, driving value back to those collectors as well. So basically, the DBs are now our base launchpad token for everything that the Nifty Castle is doing. And that to me is really exciting. Just, being able to look for more opportunities now to drive value back to DB's holders and create awesome experiences, whether it's through virtual events or IRL real life events like at Art Basel or, Vegas or NFT NYC, or, just keep continuing to build out the Sketchnate's world of Interrobang. That's what's so exciting to me. And with that, niftycastle.io, check it out, get your Xray Deebies, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to talk about some news. I think we got some recent articles that we want to get into here. This one's a trip. Woah Boy, if you want to introduce it.
So basically what happened, it's really interesting, and I'm just surprising the venue of this NFT, but the Australian Open. Oh wait, no, Wikipedia. We're starting with Wikipedia. Okay. So Wikipedia editors, they voted against classifying NFTs as art. How do we feel about that? I mean, I know NFTs as a technology it's supposed to enable a lot of different applications, obviously. But does that mean that is it the negative connotation of like NFTs as art, like in general? Like, well, what's your opinion of this, my friends Lola and Gifdead? What do you think is the point of this headline here? Are they trying to instigate?
I don't know. I think it's interesting that we're trying to define art. Isn't that like the question of, just art in general? What is art? What is defined as art? And being in the fine art industry and fine art business, we can kind of classify anything as art just depending on the story that we tell behind it and I guess its purpose of being there. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's strange that they're kind of going head first into that. And that was even a question. Like, is NFT art? I didn't even realize that was a question.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got so much to say on this, and I definitely think that it's clickbaity headlines. Is like they're just pulling out the most obnoxious part of it to try and get people like us talking about it. So congratulations,
here we are. We're doing it.
Getting exactly what you asked for. But here's the thing: NFTs are not art. NFTs are technology, first of all. Right. So like if you're just trying to define like what is an NFT, like, yeah, it's not art. So, okay, cool. Define it as a technology or a new medium or whatever you want. Like, that's fine. NFT art is its own thing. Right. So like digital art, whatever you want to call it, like, I don't care. This is getting a little bit semantic to me, is kind of what it is. Right. But what I would say is that I've been thinking about this a lot, talking to normies, right? Like, older traditional people who are all like, looking at the space and see all the money. And so they're trying to push their way into it and find their own ways to kind of like, I don't know, get into the space, right? Like, I don't want to get like overly pessimistic or critical about it. Some of them are doing it better than others, but the point is, a lot of them, from what I've been seeing, a lot of the normies, a lot of the, sort of big money whales out there that are all like looking at this thing now and realizing that like it's a legitimate business, if nothing else, they don't believe that the art part of the NFT, that the NFT art, the crypto art, that the digital art, whatever you want to call it, they don't believe it has any real value. And so this to me is one of the sort of educational roadblocks that we're up against it's a challenge to educate people about why does some digital art have inherent value just by living on the blockchain, right? Because people don't understand, like, yes, I will say a million times that like, Gary Vee and whoever else, a lot of NFT projects are going to fail or at least go down in value and not be worth as much because they're low effort. They aren't well thought out. They don't actually have any real utility to make up for the fact that the art isn't that good, or it doesn't actually have a lot of artistic integrity or thought and effort put into it. So yes, there's a lot of projects that are going to be worth not very much in the future that got hyped up, and that's very true. However, if you have a legitimate high effort project that, you put some real thought and effort into how you're building it, how you're putting it together, and put a lot of time into the actual creative, just by nature of those being, one of one unique pieces or limited editions that are backed up on the blockchain, they have inherent value. That art is actually worth something, and it is scarce, and it's provably scarce. And the ownership can be right. So it's like people don't fully, I think, comprehend that, you can have a 10,000 generative project of cartoon characters, but if it's well done, it doesn't even need to have that much utility. It can capture people's imaginations, and it can actually have inherent value just for that art. So yeah, I mean, that's my thought on it. I think that, again, there's a lot of, these fudders coming in that just don't want to spend the time or the energy to understand. And they fixate on the surface level, oh, these are all just silly JPEG cartoons. it's not actually worth anything, and they're just kind of missing the point.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
Uncle here, I want to chime in about, because this is Art Start Now, and that this is a really fruitful conversation, because we can, in many ways, and you were touching on it a little bit there, like define what art is. Like art is something that moved you, that elicited some kind of internal response, whatever it may be. You hated it, you loved it, you fell in love, you made you depressed, it made you open up your wallet and buy something. Like art is something that moves us and drives the civilization towards different directions. But I wanted to kind of open that up a little bit more to you guys. What is, when you think about art, like like the Fast and the Furious movies, I think it's art, Like that 100%. Moved a lot of people. People want to hate Nickelback, but that's art. It moves millions and millions of people. So I want to open up. Keep going.
I'm going to make a point on. There's a moment. One of my favorite moments in any movie ever was in a Fast and Furious film, and it was in Fast 5, and they were getting ambushed, and there's a moment where I believe I don't know if it's The Rock or if it was Vin Diesel who was looking at one of his. I think it was The Rock. He was looking at one of his comrades, one of his soldiers, and they were in a very vulnerable situation, and a grenade lands right next to the guy, and The Rock, and then it cuts back to The Rock, and he's like, "Oh no!" And then it cuts back to the guy, and then another grenade lands next to him. And dude, I was laughing so hard. I was like, this is fucking beautiful. Like, that is so funny. Like, I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, man, they know what they're doing. They understand. And it's like, sometimes, obviously, we know the whole sequel song and dance where make things bigger and better and like more fantastic and whatever. Like we're all very familiar with it. And whether you love it or hate it, yeah, it 100% is art. And there's a lot of people that are putting like time and effort into it. Too. That is for sure. We know that. But I just wanted to talk.
That was wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with me. Yeah. And us. Yeah. Lola, what about you? What's art to you? Whenever you think about art.
Oh man, everything is art. I don't even have a definition on it, because like just the life that we live is art, and like the art of different practices, the art of different ways of being and doing. That's why to me like that headline was really just strange, because I can't imagine just even like questioning, like just opening up that can of worms. Basically, to me, is what that is. Like, what is art? Are NFTs art? And I'm curious to know what the rest of the article says, or like what specifically their argument was about it.
Yeah, I'll circle back to that after Gifdead answers, and then
We'll put the link in the description too for anybody who wants to read along and see what they're talking about. I think art can be anything, and like I really like, Fun Uncle, what you were saying. Like, if it makes you feel like okay, then it has more artistic value to you than other things. But I think for any of us to be, what's the word? Arrogant enough to think that we have some kind of monopoly over what the definition of art is, I think is hilarious. Art can be anything. Markets will decide how to value different things as art. But if I was to talk subjectively from my own POV about the kinds about what I think adds artistic value and integrity to things, then it comes from a self-awareness. It comes from context, theme. It comes from, the amount of thought, do you understand the different formats and the rules of different styles that you then can break? You know what I mean? And a lot of it also just comes from the process itself, right? So all of these things that I just mentioned are part of the artistic process. And so the more that you can show your thought, show your process, show, how you got from point A to point B, even if it's a squiggly ass line, like that doesn't matter. But a lot of the art itself to me is in the process. And so, yeah, but trying to say that something is more art than something else is such a joke, because it's all subjective at the end of the day.
For sure.
Clickbait. They got us talking about
Yeah,
it.
like you said before.
They got us clicking
Yeah,
on
here
it.
we are.
Mm-hmm.
Full blown
Yeah.
conversation.
It worked. Yeah.
I'll follow up with something that they mentioned and what you did say, Gifdead. Like, who are we to define what art is? Because it's obviously in the eye of the beholder in so many cases. But what one of the quotes here is, Wikipedia works off of precedent. If NFTs are classified as not art on this page, then they will be classified as not art on the rest of Wikipedia. Wikipedia is the global source of truth for many around the world. The stakes couldn't be higher. So,
interesting.
Well, so the stakes are also high for them, right?
yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like, Web3 is new internet. So, good job trying to keep yourself relevant, Wikipedia, but I don't give a crap. And yes, maybe there will be a bunch of people that look at that and they're like, oh, NFTs aren't real art because Wikipedia says so. But if the market's already decided, like, hey, we put value on these tokens that have digital art associated with them, like, Wikipedia is just dating itself and making itself more irrelevant by not actually, like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like shaking their fist to the sky. It's like,
yeah, like
NFT.
the last time that I actually used Wikipedia was like grad school 10 years ago. So I'm just saying, like, I don't actually look to Wikipedia very often anymore. I look at a lot of other information sources that are more relevant. So, again, you could say it's like, oh, it's risky for NFTs, but to me, it's like Wikipedia. If y'all don't remember, Wikipedia also has been like really struggling from a monetary standpoint to actually survive.
Yeah.
Like, they've been doing a lot of different fundraising through their website because nobody is like they don't have a real model, right? So if anything, I would point to the fact that Wikipedia doesn't have a solid model or foundation as maybe part of the reason why, they're trying to make themselves more relevant with some clickbait like this.
Well, rest in peace, Wikipedia, I guess.
Yeah, basically TLDR with Wikipedia. I'd be interested to see what everyone else thinks. Please share your thoughts below in like the comments and stuff. Like, just what your definition of like, or what art means to you. That'd be great to hear. Please share that, because I think it's like we said, it's in the eye of the beholder and it's different for everyone. So, yeah.
I like how Wikipedia got me heated. Wikipedia got me like, up, like just because, like, yeah, it's just like, no, it's not mad. It's just kind of like, I feel like it's some serious audacity for them to I don't know, to step in with something like that feels kind of audacious to me. But that's
art,
again,
though. It moved you.
It is art. It's like, this is their version of art. Again, it's like, it's like, as we mentioned at the start, to me, this feels like clickbait, and it worked. You know what I mean? Like, that's how, it's good. Great job getting us talking. So, hey, there you go. And we're going to keep it going with another one. Woah Boy.
Keep it moving. Dude, the Australian Open,
rolling.
of all things. I played a little tennis growing up with my mom and in gym class. I had a solid serve, but I haven't been following tennis much since, guys. But apparently they are digging into the Australian Open in particular, digging into the NFT space. The Australian Open partnered with Run It Wild, MetaKey, and Decentraland to create an experience and also an NFT project where basically people could buy a tennis ball that had art on it. Most of them were programmatically like put together, different like colors, almost like a tie-dye sort of thing. And then there are some of them that are in an art series where they selected particular artists that would make signature tennis balls that you could get. So there's like 169 of those. But the cool thing about this is the fact that these tennis balls have updating metadata that is linked to the results of the actual Australian Open, so that your tennis ball represents I think it said 16 by 16 centimeter plot, something like that or it was 19 by 19 centimeter plot of the tennis court. And if one of the game-winning shots was hit into your plot, that would be then shown in the metadata. And if the game-winning point, like of the championship, was hit onto your plot, then there would be some rewards there too, and you would receive that actual game-winning ball. Now this also extends into Decentraland as well, where they have mirrored the Australian Open Court and some of its facilities, where you can apparently talk to other fans and also the players. So they have like an immersive sort of experience there where they tie in Decentraland. So that's how they come into it, and MetaKey obviously as well. So really interesting. Did not expect this from tennis to be like one of the first one of the first sports to like dig into NFTs. But yeah, curious to hear your guys' thoughts also. Have you guys ever played tennis before?
Yes, that was like one of the first and last sports that I ever tried to get into.
Really?
And I was like, this is not for me. I am art. I choose the art, and sports wasn't something that I focused on. But this concept is really interesting with the land aspect and the winning. Sheesh. And tennis is actually a lot harder than it looks, is what I found out too from playing it.
I love tennis. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of agility.
Mm-hmm. You should play sometime. You should do an Art Start Now tennis match.
That would be fun. So I actually have a bunch of tennis courts right across the street from my apartment that I haven't used yet. So we should use them. I played a little bit when I was younger, but I have not played in a long time. So it'll be embarrassing.
It'll be great content.
Yeah, it'll be great because it'll be embarrassing. I think obviously, this is a very creative way for, what I would call a legacy brand, or, an older sort of enterprise to enter into the space and keep themselves relevant. Again, I was just thinking, like, it made me think of how funny it's going to be when Wikipedia tries to raise funds by launching their own NFTs now. Because I'm just going to be like, you know what, guys? Like, sorry, you crapped on NFTs to get a few extra clicks.
I have the receipts.
Yeah, we have the receipts, and so it's going to be really funny to me if and when Wikipedia tries to get into the NFT space. This is, I think, a really cool, interesting project. I love that they're incorporating off-chain data. It reminds me of, I think Beeple was the one that used a dynamic NFT that around the presidential election that would change depending on who won the election, right? And so this is attached to the actual results of the game. And so, off-chain data, dynamic NFTs are going to be a big thing in 2022. I think props to the Australia Open for being really innovative and I think ahead of the curve. And the way that they're tokenizing or fractionalizing the actual court in like a cool thematic way that has to do with the actual match and like who wins, and creating this like interesting raffle. I don't know. I just think it's unique.
Yeah.
It's not something I would have expected. And it took me a moment to kind of like figure out all the things that they're doing here. But, once you do, you're like, oh, I get it. That's kind of cool. I can own, not just this unique piece of digital art that's like a time capsule from this first Australian Open that, is participating in the metaverse. But, I can also potentially win some other things if my token, my plot of the court, is the place where the winning, shot lands. So I don't know. It's cool. It's engaging. It's innovative. And yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked at that like sequence of art that it was going through, of the process of like the marketing and stuff. Oh my gosh, it's just so clean and such a great way of just like explaining the value and like the interactivity of all of it. So the moment that they get that little cube and put it into like the cyber, like they put it into a little like grid where all of the tennis balls are being kept. It's such an interesting, like right here,
there.
Like, oh my gosh. That's so
that really helped me understand what it was and like what the project was doing. I needed to see that.
I wonder, so So one of the really interesting things about this is how they are layering different technologies in to create this. Because one of the technologies that they already had is how you can actually visualize, you know, the like sort of 3D version, different camera angles of the tennis court and see and track the ball in real time, like where it lands. So they had to have that technology and that capability already set for them to be able to do something like this. And it makes me wonder, like, do they have a solution in place for what if the ball, when it hits the court, you know, it actually creates a little bit of a flat circle. It's not like a pinpoint because it compresses. What if it's right on the line between two of these plots, or on the corner and on 3 or 4 of these plots? You know, do they have a solution in place for that?
That's actually super interesting. Because there are a lot of opportunities for that too, because they're very small, 19 by 19, man. Like, yeah, that's you could be at a cross section between 4 of them. Jeez, technically,
centimeters are like inches but shorter, right? I think.
Yeah.
We're American. Sorry, everyone. We're American.
We're talking metric system here, folks. But yeah, I think this is super dope. And, you know, again, I think, you know, props to Australian Open. I think that they're setting a new standard or an example that a lot of other events, sports events especially, are going to be looking at. And they're going to say, how do we create our own, you know, metaverse activation, our own NFT activation around our tournament or our event? And so, yeah, to me, they've really planted a flag as like an innovative organization, an innovative tournament, and sort of a thought leader and a leader in the future and where things are going. And just again, in terms of like engaging audiences. Yeah. So props again. Love this one. Thanks for thanks for bringing it up, Woah Boy. And thank you all for hanging out with us and talking about art, talking about creative process. Again, let us know in the comments. I am really curious now to see how many different people will how many different definitions of art, you know, people will have. So would love to get that combo going in the comments. And I know we've got one last thing that's very special that we want to share with you today. And that's from our very own bus driver, Fun Uncle. Yo, tell us about what you've been working on, man. Tell us about what your Samsung screen is doing. And about your mic being off. This is perfect. We're nailing it already. This is
great.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't, do. Yes.
Is this great?
This is perfect.
This is how you know. This is how you know.
This is perfect.
I'm just like, oh right, I should be pulling that up. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna dive right into it. Nothing wrong happened here because the Fun Uncle League Loungers are live. 200 unique tropical themed NFTs that are chocked full of unlockable content. And I have been working on this one for a little while because it stems back to Fun Uncle, this identity I've created, which is like love, you know? Whenever given the option between like, you know, having fun or being a bummer, like always choose fun at every opportunity. And I think that's just like how you got to look at life. Like in one hand, life's kind of a bummer and, you know, it's hard and you got to wake up every single day and put on your shoes, you know, or you can be like, I got another day. Like today is another day I get to capitalize on. And let's choose fun. There's this actual financial advisor I listened to. I can't remember his name, but he said that like each new day is worth $10 million. You know, like if you were given the trade to have $10 million cash, but you don't get it tomorrow, you're going to take tomorrow every time. Like you're going to turn away that money. And so I look at that like, you know, every day is $10 million. Seize it and have fun with it. Put on a Hawaiian shirt, you know? I don't care if it makes me look old. It's comfortable and it's stylish and it's vibrant, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. Content. Yeah, pull it up and show it again. And also, you know, I'm curious about that number 10 million and why it's not higher, or what about 20 or 30 million?
It's a case by case. Yeah.
But the sentiment is on point. But yeah, pull those up. Let's talk about them more, man. I want to see them. Show me some of the art. And so these are collectibles, and you're working on an unlockable model, right? Yeah. So there's basically like your own membership token that you're launching. So yeah, tell us more about what it looks like you chose Polygon as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, tell us the specs and about the unlockables.
Dude, okay, so unlockables are first a digital download of my first book, Fun Uncle Common Sense for the Greater Good. You can get a paperback version on Amazon if you like. Links in the comments down below. Just for the shill of it, right? But there's also access to me, your neighborhood fun uncle, your neighborhood LADZ City fun uncle, actually. In that I'm going to be throwing exclusive events all throughout the summer. First one is going to be NFT Las Vegas, March 22nd through the 25th, followed up by Bitcoin Miami. That's April 6th through the 10th. I will be at both of those throwing on events. And then there's a third event in Miami, July 7th through the 10th. So I'm throughout the year just throwing these events, and I'm building unlockable content as we go. And then the one that's got people really excited is I have a raffle going on. $500 in Ethereum is going out to people who solve the riddles within the unlockable content. And first riddle has already been solved. I got 4 more riddles to go, and I am paying out cold hard Ethereum to whoever solves it first. And so that's how I've started things with this first batch. I'll come out with another batch in the second quarter this year after NFT Las Vegas. And merging the fact that, I'm a graphic designer by trade and an influencer, tied two of those together. And we have these pineapple NFTs I'm working on.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
No tattoos on my body yet. That's a great idea. Maybe for the third iteration. Hey, Woah Boy, thanks for the support, my man. Thank you. Yeah, you get a digital download of that book in these NFTs as well. So cool. Carry it with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We're definitely gonna have to link up and collab in Vegas and Miami because we're also planning events there. So yeah, we should figure out how we can synergize come together and collaborate to make some special moments. But yeah, man, I love it. I'm stoked. I'm excited that you're creating your own token, your own thing, and then it's on brand. It's very you. And I feel that when I look at them, it definitely makes you feel something.
Warm in my heart. Thanks.
So yeah, man, congrats on that.
Funky Genesis.
And tell them one more time, where they can find it. Is it just OpenSea, or you got a website link?
Well, I will have links down in the description below. It's the Fun Uncle League Loungers if you want to type it into OpenSea. You can also check out me, where I'll be going deep into this business Sundays here on the LADZ City Network, 1 p.m. Every single Sunday. You're going to see more of this old bag of bones here, huh? This old hot potato. I'm serving it up hot. I'm serving it up fresh.
Hey, that's a great way to end it. Hey, we did it.
Yes.
I feel like you really stuck that landing.
I'm also pressing buttons and directing the show over here. I'm impressed with myself. I haven't misfired more than once.
No, you're killing it, and we appreciate you. And so if y'all appreciate everything that Fun Uncle's doing for the lads, for Art Start Now, for the community, show him some love and get into his awesome new project, the League Loungers, LADZ City on deck. We're gonna keep growing and building, y'all. Y'all can be part of this thing with us. This is amazing. So yeah, stoked. Congrats. Fun Uncle, bus driver, appreciate you. Love the new project. Lola, the tattoo project. LolaMenthol.com, niftycastle.io. Check it out. All the links are in the bio. And come see us next time on Art Start Now.
Baby,
Peace.
I don't know if you want to see me.
Art Start Now. We're gonna make it just creative, put it down. Art Start Now. We're gonna make it just creative.